Hello, everyone. I hope folks are having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Super excited to look through these new Kingdom cards. So, for those of you who might not be in the know, let me just get my stream up here. They just released a bunch of new Kingdom cards for the Wild Kingdom expansion for the Old King's Crown, and I have not seen any of these. So I just thought it would be fun to look through them, see which ones seem good, see which ones seem coveable, which is very important to me, and just kind of give my thoughts on them. I'm super excited to look back on this, even post-development after these have been maybe tweaked a little bit, and just see how right and or wrong I was. So with that, if you have any thoughts, if you agree with what I'm saying, if you disagree with what I'm saying, please feel free to just sound off in the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on it more than I would during a normal playtest when my focus is just zeroed in on actually playing the game. Just want to keep this a little bit more chill, hang out, and take a look at these Kingdom cards, which I have heard are apparently extremely wacky. Hold on 1 second. I think my mic might be picking up a little bit of background noise here. Okay, that That looks much better. Okay. All right, we're going to jump in here. We've got 15 cards to go through. To keep me company here, I've got a little non-alcoholic lemon radler soda thing that I bought that I'm going to enjoy as we look through these cards. I could get the can open. This is where having fingernails helps, honestly. All right. Cheers. Let's see what we're working with here. All right. The one true seal. Move a card from the lost pile to your hand. For the rest of the game, treat this card as yours. Okay, so by the wording of that, that makes me assume that you can steal other people's cards and add them to your deck. Obviously seems really good. I mean, I'm just thinking of like, well, I guess Guerrilla Fighters is not that easy to get into the lost pile. So, you know, realistically, what could go into the lost pile that could be stolen easily? What's squishy in that way? I mean, assassins, you could steal, or agents, you could steal other people's agents. That's resilient. I feel like my initial impression of this is it seems exciting and good, but I don't know that much good stuff usually ends up in the lost pile. It's a lot of like garbage cards people journey with, a few of the squishies. This doesn't completely knock my socks off. I'll be real. I'm gonna throw this into B tier, and we'll see if I reconsider based on what else is on display here. Alright, we're gonna look at our next card. Next we have the Portal. Move your bidding card to the lost pile and place this card on a location. For the rest of the game, you may treat this locate as any other location on the map. Lost pile. Place this card on a location. Okay, that's pretty wacky. This could really help with like a nobility lockdown strategy, especially. The way I like to play nobility, or at least have been experimenting with it, is by just double stacking cannons on a region and just winning that region repeatedly. But one of the biggest issues is, unless you're choosing Shrine or Necropolis, you know, those cannons are going away. You could either support them with a good kingdom card, like Engineer's Workshop, or, God, what's it called? The friend-shaped one, Unearthed Iron Gear. So you could do that, but it is reliant on those. This is another card that enables that type of strategy, because you could just, you know, say, hey, I have Castle and I have Necropolis, and then I'm just going to win this region for the rest of the game. Seems pretty good. I really think just the ability to slap a lowlands area that you really need onto a more contested region up here does seem extremely strong. Yeah, and it allows you to just focus one area and just try to win that repeatedly. I'll put that in A tier. That seems quite good. Alright, a Dread Deal. Burn all of your cards in the lost pile. Gain 2 lore. If you cannot burn one or more cards, discard this card. Okay, so this is just like churn and burn to get a bunch of lore. Burn all your cards to gain 2 lore. So you can use it once, and then if you don't lose cards the next round. Although I guess you could just journey. So you just journey, and then the old journey them and burn them kind of strategy going on here. So just journey shitty cards, burn them, get a ton of lore, and on-ramp to your cards. I would not want to see, honestly, an Uprising with this to like rush Black Powder and Gorilla. This also seems quite good. Really allows you to get your good Site of Power cards very quickly. Is this gonna bother me? Alright. Binding Stone. Gain a card from an opponent's site of power. Treat this card as yours for the rest of the round. Hold on. I'm still getting a little bit of feedback. Let me just take 1 second to fix up my mic here. Okay, I don't think I'm getting the feedback anymore. Okay, perfect. Alright, so Binding Stone, let's read this one more time. So, in spring, gain a card from an opponent's site of power for the rest of the round. Okay, what? This seems really freaking good. Almost the opposite of this, where instead of going through, you just want this early so that you can snipe good cards. I mean, this just lets you use your opponent's most expensive cards so early. I mean, the strength is just honestly contingent on, the strength is honestly contingent on how early you get it. Like, you get this early. I mean, it's getting stolen, but... Oh, man. I'm putting this in Cove tier. Could you imagine coving this early? It would be so good. Alright, next up we have Martyrs. Waltz. Well, first of all, shoutouts to the dev team for using the word waltzed. I just really enjoy that. I think that's wonderful. Whilst you occupy this card, you may only have one supporter on the map. If there are any more, move them to your supply. That one supporter's strength is 5. Okay, let me wrap my brain around this. I assume that Claws is there because of, like, School of the Stones. This would actually be pretty wacky with Nobility. Obviously, this doesn't seem very good for a Corsair's strategy. What else kind of deals with supporters? The current clash. I mean, it's nice for our House of the Lights. Like, I guess Gathering could use it to still secure clashes while only having one supporter out. And you have to burn that supporter. Because, yeah, you could almost use it on the second turn of, like, School of the Stones to reclaim a bunch, but still have something strong out there. Doesn't seem good for... Actually, this could be quite good for Uprising. If they're doing, what is it, the hidden headquarters? Yeah, it's undercover counselors. Because they're just gonna stack their supporters on the councils anyway. Or at least that's what I do when I play a strategy focused around this card. So if your guys are all on the councils, you know, they're not on the map, and what's left on the map is very strong. This seems okay. Situational, though. B tier. Alright. Let's see what we got next. Arrows, bright and true. For the rest of the round, treat all printed and granted. I assume that's the language they're using for stuff that is granted by, like, Noble Guard, and kind of outside forces that be, as blank. Okay, so this is just, like, Book of True Names, but better, kind of. It just guarantees you can kill shit. But it does apply to your own cards as well, as far as I can tell. Because it would say all opponents. Seems good. Kind of like a worse Guerrilla Fighters, because it applies to your own cards too. Seems pretty good. I'm sorry, Des. Maybe I'm not thinking of the applications here, but I haven't seen anything that's made me think this is insane. This is completely wacky. I mean, we've got most of the cards left to get through. I'm hoping we get some S tier wackiness here, but maybe I'm just not being creative enough here. But they're not as extreme as I actually thought they were going to be. Although, you know, now that I'm thinking about this just persists. That is pretty good. Like, unless someone takes this away from you... Actually, I think this should go into Cove tier. Because if you Cove this, you just kill everything as Uprising. That'd be pretty good. Alright. Velvet Auction Room. When resolving your bid at the Great Road, you may claim 2 cards at once. Seems good with all these strong cards potentially in play. They both become occupied by the same bidding card. For the rest of the game, only move the occupying card to your hand when both have been stolen or discarded. Also, is this a Persona reference? Because it's the Velvet Room. Like, it's gotta be a Persona reference, right? Okay, so... Okay, you can buy 2 cards at once. They can still be stolen. Oh my god, am I just gonna put this in Cove tier 2? I mean, this lets you Cove 2 cards. I mean, what can I say? It's gotta be Cove tier. Last gift. Search for your heir and burn it. Interesting. I wonder how this works when you have multiple heirs out of the nobility. If in your deck, shuffle after revealing, increase your hand size by 2. I mean, if y'all have ever watched any of my streams, you know that I play fast and loose with attrition. Attrition, you know, maybe this is why I don't win that many games, but it just feels like a suggestion rather than, you know, a requirement. I kind of like to churn and burn through cards and not worry too much about attrition. For those of you out there who are very attrition-minded, though, I mean, this could be good. But burning your heir... Oh, that just feels like a really bad drawback. I'm putting this down in C tier. This doesn't feel very good to me. I don't think I would play this card. The once crown found. He was lost and now he's found. At the end of the game, but before final scores are tallied, if you occupy this card, gain 3. Oh shit! You guys listen to me. You put Chimurky in the game. Okay, I mean, it's... okay, so... For anyone who has never played any of the Dune Imperium games with the upgrades, or with the expansions, there's one that adds in these little tech tiles that's very similar to how Kingdom cards operate in this game. And one of those tech tiles is Chimurky, which I'll admit it, I haven't read the Dune books, but I googled it, and it's apparently a poison cup. Anyway, what the card lets you do is win ties in endgame, which essentially makes the card worth a victory point when it matters. It's really freaking good. Like, I think it's one of the best tech tiles in Dune X Immortality. So, this is like that, but it gives you it essentially gives you 4 points. Because it just gives you the bonus point if you're tied for the win. That's freaking phenomenal. I think this is excellent. I would absolutely play this. The Sun Vault. Burn your bidding card, sure, and gain 7 points minus the current round number. Oh, this is interesting. So this shows up... Oh man, this is gonna make first player order so important if this ever shows up. Because, like, everyone starts with their 10. Oh my god, I guess you just martial law this turn 1 if you're nobility. I mean, it's obviously not very good if it shows up at the end of the game, but I mean, this is just, if you're playing the nobility, you get 7 points for free. That's insane. And even, I mean, rounds 1, 2, and 3, I guess 6 points, because it is round. We're not zero indexing rounds here. But, oh my goodness. But like rounds 1 through 3, even 4, that's very worth it to go for. S tier for sure. Alright, Siren's Lockbox. When one or more cards are eliminated in a clash, gain... Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm just thinking about some of the synergies here, like these things that let you kill super easily. This seems also very good. Obviously fantastic for Cove. I think this might end up in Cove tier. We'll review them all at the end as well, and I can change my mind based on what I'm seeing. Okay. Sudden Eclipse. Ooh, very cool name. Move your bidding card to your discard pile and place this on a region. All location rewards is blank. Okay, so this is basically stop your opponents from getting something that they might need. I wonder how that works with the Vortex card. Or what's that one? The Portal. That's any of... Yeah, I'll be curious to see if the blanking out from Eclipse also impacts the Portal. That's something for the errata, though, probably. I mean, the main thing I can immediately think of in terms of usage here is you can... Oh, you can do some wacky stuff. So you could stop someone from taking Harvest Field so that you could hold on to the favor without having to do anything. You can keep your hold on the castle. And obviously you could just force someone into attrition, but that almost feels like the worst option. You know, the more I think about this one, the more I like it. I was ready to toss this in C tier, but this feels like just kind of based on which one of these regions you're focusing. There is use in denying these to opponents, like if you're set up on castle or if you're set up with the favor. That's feeling like a solid B tier card. Traders revealed. Ah, it's got the exclamation point, so you know it's extra exciting. Also, I'm watching a game show right now called The Traders, and it's great. So, Pablo and Andrew, if you watch this, you should check out The Traders. I don't know if you'll find their depiction of Scotland too stereotypical or think it's great, but either way, is a wonderful show. Alright, Traders revealed. Choose an opponent. For the rest of the round, treat their kingdom cards as if you also own them. That's interesting. It's almost like an anti-cove technology here. Situational. I mean, if you're playing with the Wild Kingdom expansion, that kicks up the power of kingdom cards across the board. So copying in an opponent's kingdom card, this seems pretty good. The thing that I wonder is, can you pop a one-time use kingdom card and force your opponent to discard that card? Because if you can do that, like, you know, opponent has Sword That Slept. You use Sword That Slept, and opponent has to discard it. If that's the case, then this is pretty strong. And I might even consider S tier. But for now, I feel pretty comfortable putting this into A tier. Unnatural Abundance. For the rest of the round, all Herald rewards are reduced to 0. All other influence gain is doubled. Oh man. That's a spring action, so it doesn't stack with... Well, it could stack with this. That'd be spicy. Doesn't stack with this. The rest of the round at the end of the game. I'm guessing these two don't stack. If they did, aces. I'm guessing they don't though. Herald rewards are reduced to 0. All other gain is doubled. Does black powder give you influence? It does. Like, this could combo well with, like, black powder and School of the Streets. That turns Regal Guard into just 2 pre-points. It's good with Wall as well. Just gain 2 points. Corsairs. Yeah, would this double what you could get from Corsairs? Yeah, okay. This could be like okay with Corsairs. If you have a big Corsairs round, you could turn that into like a 6 victory point gain. Well, I also forgot this rule yesterday, so I should have ended my game with 1 more point than I did, apparently. Is this reusable? Hi. That is also decent. And you stop everyone else's Herald rewards. I guess that is also the key. It's feeling like a solid A tier. Most factions seem to have good ways to take advantage of this. You cove this, you're public enemy #1 though. Oh my god, you just take away Herald rewards for the rest of the game. Alright, Reformer's Gavel, our final card. Rearrange any number of cards, markers, or supporters at councils. Okay, when would you have markers at a council? Because the markers go to locations here. The fact that you can screw with... Well, okay. Question time. Could you use this to stack undercover counselors onto a single council? Because that'd be goofy if you have this as Uprising. And then just stack 3 undercover counselors on coins. Bringer of the Word, I think, puts markers on councils. You could use this to cheese Bringer of the Word pretty hard, too. This isn't as good as I thought it was, honestly. Unless those stack. If those markers stack turn over turn, and you get to rearrange them, seems pretty good. Magistrate is obviously immune to this effect. I think this is feeling pretty B tier. Seems okay, but not insane. All right. Let's look through these again. Make sure that I really have them in the right place. Okay, Binding Stone. Gain a card from an opponent's site of power. That's really good. And once again, just if that shows up early, that's such a big advantage. Just lets you kill the shit out of things with Cove, if you Cove it. Okay, this has to be a Persona reference. Please tell me if it's a Persona reference. Once again, seems really strong with Cove. Uprising just would like this too. Alright, so S tier. I should have actually taken the time to explain what I'm thinking. Like, Cove tier, I feel like would be broken if used with Cove. These are thinking of more like wide applicability to other factions as well as usability. Like, when is this ever not going to be useful? Like, it's a bunch of points and a tiebreaker. I guess it doesn't contribute like throughout the game, but still. I mean, just winning tiebreakers is such a strong effect. It's really good. And this just, man, if this shows up turn 1 and you're not playing Nobility, like, I guess you just cry. Like, what else do you even do? Just have 6 free points, Nobility, have fun. Yeah, Portal, just the flexibility that this gives, I think is really great, especially... I mean, this may be my worst opinion on this game, but I just feel like the Lowlands is not that good. But situationally, it's useful. Like, so just being able to cherry pick Lowlands when you need it, while still focusing on the better regions, that seems pretty good. This just lets you blitz your site of power, like, pretty reliably, too, as long as you're just journeying crappy cards. Copy powers tend to be really good. I mean, this is going to be much better in a higher player count game because you'll have more options. This might be more situational that I'm thinking about player counts, so I'm actually going to move that to B. Because, yeah, if you're playing a 4-player game, you have a ton of options. If you're playing a 2-player game, your options are just more limited. If the devs want to make this... I mean, it'd be a pretty hard nerf to this card, but it would make it less dependent on player count. You could change it so that instead of just choosing an opponent, it's like the opponent to your right or whatever. That keeps it locked to a single opponent, so it doesn't swing as much with player count. Unnatural Abundance. Yeah, I feel like this is strong. The fact that you're denying Herald rewards from other people, you're essentially imposing a 1-point tax on everyone, and then you can just set up your own other types of gains. Especially, well, Nobility would really like this. I stick with my original assessment here. I don't feel like very good cards end up in the lost pile. Like, being able to steal an opponent's assassin is good, but I don't know how good that is. Also, I have no idea how this is going to be trackable in the physical version. Yeah, I steal an opponent's card and I put it in a council or something. Like, how do we know it's mine? I guess faction markers is all I can think. So I'll be interested to see how that's implemented. Martyrs also seems situational, but potentially good. I like the way it could potentially interact with undercover counselors. Corsairs, it seems anti-synergistic with. Potentially an interesting application with School of the Stones as well. If you're bidding hard. Yeah. A solid denial card. I'm actually going to bump this up to 8 here. I think this is a little better than I'm giving it credit for. Situational as well. Counselors, Bringer, those are the interesting things. I mean, if coins really does become a meta-defining piece, then, I mean, just using this to keep people off of coins, it's like, you know, it's a castle that you can keep on your tableau. It could be good. But I think it just really depends on how much these really matter, and how much a disruption tool for that is useful. We kind of went through this. Too swingy based on player count. And this, maybe it's just me, but this just doesn't feel worth it. Buffing your hand size by 2 to by burning your heir. I just can't ever think of a situation where that would feel worth it. Like, maybe if it's just a lose instead of a... like, I don't know. I don't see a situation where I would really take this trade-off. Hello, OptiPersona. I like the little emoji that you posted in the chat. How are you doing today? All right. Well, that, I think, brings me to the end of the tier list that I'm making here. I'm gonna take a little screenshot of it, just so I can hopefully revisit this someday in the future, and laugh at how wrong I am on some of these. I'm glad to hear you're chilling. I'm having a good day. It is pretty much the opposite. It is beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's sunny. I went out and had some brunch with some friends today, and now I'm hanging out and talking about nerd games. It's been a pretty good Sunday. Well, if you're just joining us... yeah, I hear you. I hear you. The weather's finally turning for the better where I am, so I'm thankful for it, although I don't really do great in the sun, in case you can probably tell from looking at me. So definitely got to keep the sunscreen on, but enjoying getting a little bit of sun. Well, I have to ask you, since you're hanging out, were you exposed to this game before you popped on the stream yesterday, or are you new to the world of the old King's Crown? Well, welcome. This game's really cool. I've just decided to start making content about it because I really like it, and the devs are super awesome. Basically what we're doing here is they just released content for one of the expansions. So that's what these cards are. If you could kind of tell from yesterday's stream, basically these kingdom cards just act as little enhancements. You build just like a little tableau of them. So these new cards are meant to be extra wacky and extra strong, and we'd never seen them before, so I went through and made a little ranking of them to see which ones seemed extra broken. But it's a really cool game. If you ever want to play, you should definitely join on the server. We get games together fairly often, and everyone there is super chill and super nice. So if you like strategy games, this is a really good one. I really like it. The art is awesome as well, and there is honestly just a ton to dig into here. You absolutely should. I mean, we're always... I think today I'm embodying this card here, the bringer of the word, because here I am, bringing the word directly to you of how much I enjoy this game. And yeah, the art is really cool. I think the Kickstarter might be open to late backers at this point. You can get art prints and stuff too. Sorry, I'm just out here shilling, but I'm gushing because I think it's really cool. And yeah, the art is awesome. And like, every single one of these cards is going to have unique art as well. So this is all just placeholder stuff. But if you look here, you can already start to see like Unearthed Iron Gear. They just finished the art for this card recently. Like Rumors, I assume this is the final artwork for the Innkeeper, but Rumors in the Dark is going to have different artwork. Like every single one of these will have different art, along with all these different cards and the individual decks as well. So like, you know, right now they have cards that are sharing artwork, like 9 and 8, but they'll actually have unique artwork, which, even if I never get to play this game with friends, which I highly doubt, I think folks in my friend group are going to enjoy this quite a bit, I can at least look at the cards and enjoy looking at them. So I'm pretty stoked for it to come out. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little screenshot of this beautiful, beautiful tier list I've constructed here. So I actually found out about it. I play a lot of Root, which, if you haven't heard of it, it's another excellent board game. So a member of the Root community who makes great content, his handle is Lord of the Board. He did a preview video on this game. And I'll be honest, as soon as I saw it, I had to go check it out, like, because the art looked so cool. And it had an endorsement from a content creator I enjoy. And I'm just an absolute sucker for asymmetric stuff. So I went in and tried it out, and I was really sold on it by the community. Everyone here is super nice, super chill. The devs are so open to just chatting about the game and passionate about what they do. I don't back that many Kickstarter games. I try to avoid, like, buying a ton of games and then never playing them, but they got their hooks in me on this one. And I wanted to support the team since it's a first time game for them. So we can thank Lord of the Board from the Root community for letting me know about it. Well, Root is also excellent. Yeah, I'm hoping to keep streaming and growing this channel a little bit, so I'll probably be playing some Root at some point on some of these tabletop streams that I'm doing. It's a very mean game with a very cute exterior. It's a lot of fun. So if you check out some other streams, I'll hopefully be playing it. It's a lot of fun. Also has just an excellent, very dedicated online community that plays the game competitively. So it's a really cool one, and just another really pretty one to own. But if you're looking to get into the hobby, like, I feel like for me, one of the best gateway games I played, honestly, was Wingspan. If you've heard of that one, you can pick it up at most Targets. Really fun, just a little tableau building game with birds, but there's a decent amount of strategy there. My partner and I play it, like, pretty much every day. So if you're just getting into the hobby, my recommendation, well, this game is wonderful. I would certainly recommend it, but if you're looking for something you can actually buy right now, Wingspan is also really good. I really like Wingspan. Yeah, I will be honest, I'm, like, newish. I'm newish to the hobby as well, because, I mean, Wingspan's not a particularly old game, and that's what got me into it, like, over the, like, lockdown years. So I haven't played many of the, like, Fantasy Flight limited card games. Like, I think they do, like, Arkham Horror, I think. Someone out there is frothing at the mouth as I'm getting this wrong, but I haven't played any of the Fantasy Flight stuff, but I know that it's very, very prolific. Very prolific, but yeah, having a friendly local game store is honestly the way to go. I'm really lucky that I have a cool one near me as well. I'm the exact same way. Like, I was a gamer for a long time, and like playing competitive games, like a lot of competitive Smash Brothers Melee and things like that. And the thing I like about board games, honestly, is that there's not as much, like, patch culture around, like, complaining about balance and whatever. Like, you just kind of learn the game as it is and, like, master the game as it is. And I think compared to playing something like, you know, Overwatch that's getting constantly patched or something like that, I do enjoy that you can really just sink your teeth into a board game and just learn it for what it is. That's what I've been having a ton of fun doing with this game as it's being developed. And I'm excited to hopefully kind of sink my teeth into the metal a little bit more once development actually finishes. And that starts to get a little bit more settled. I've heard Marvel Champions is really fun. That's definitely one. If I were to get into one of those LCGs, I feel like Marvel Champions would probably be it. The theme appeals as well. Nice. What fighting games do you like to play? Nice. Yeah, so really the issue is right now where I live, I can't have a wire to my PC. Just physical constraints. So I'm not playing any fighting games right now, and the fact that I'm missing out on the new Street Fighter is killing me because I really want to play it. It looks really fun. But I used to play a ton of Melee because I'm just like a fucking boomer and grew up on that shit. But Guilty Gear Strive is honestly when I had a wire and I could actually play online. What I was playing a lot of. It's a really good time. Tekken I've always heard is great. I've played some Soul Calibur, but I can never really just wrap my head around the 3D plane in a fighting game. So I honestly have a ton of respect for folks who play Tekken and Soul Cal because I can never get my brain around that stuff. Yeah, I think for me, the stuff that was wild was like, I don't know if you've played any like Soul Calibur, but it's like one of the characters who fights with like the staff. I totally forget his name. Depending on where he is when he like originates his attack, like he's swinging the staff through the 3D space. So you actually have to think about how you're dodging around the like staff because the hitboxes are actually like traveling a certain way through a 3D space. Like to me that is just like such another level of like knowledge check to just understand that on top of everything else that's going on. That kind of stuff just really blows my mind. Yes, Killick. Yes. Yeah, I've looked into the Powerline adapters. I've heard mixed stuff about them, honestly. I think at some point I'm probably going to try it out, especially if I do more streaming. Like, I'd love to stream Strive sometime. Or maybe even pick up Street Fighter and start streaming that as well. But yeah, just the fact that the attacks actually exist in a 3D plane and you have to think about how to maneuver around them in a 3D plane, it's just like a whole nother level of awareness. It's very cool, but also was quite intimidating as a newcomer. Well, as you may or may not know, Smash is also a 3D game, technically. The hitboxes are rendered in 3D, which leads to some really stupid shit, especially in Melee, where the hitboxes are all janky as fuck. But yeah, I feel like it's just, like you're saying here, just getting a feel for the flow of the combat and, like, movement. That was the hardest thing, is, like, movement. And I feel like even just getting into traditional fighters from someone who plays like platform fighters, and I like to play a lot of platformers, like just getting used to a more restricted movement style took a lot of getting used to. Even like the idea of not having air control when you jump into the air was just like the weirdest thing for me, because that just, it's something I take for granted when I'm like moving a character around. It's something I like naturally expect to happen. Right. Well, honestly, I will keep that in mind. Maybe I will seriously look into the power line adapter if it is something that actually works. I'll look into it. But for now, I think I'm gonna wrap up my stream since we've gone through all the cards. But thank you for stopping by. I really enjoyed just shooting the shit about fighting games and having you hang out with us a little bit. So I'm hoping to keep streaming on Sundays. So feel free to stop back by if you have some time and we're streaming around here. Definitely go check out the Old King's Crown Discord. Come in and play a game with us sometime. And thanks for stopping by. And for anyone else who's just hanging out in the viewers and hasn't said anything, thank you guys for watching as well. Always feel free to jump in and chat.